Hey everyone, and welcome. So, have you ever thought about taking that love for doing nails and turning it into a real professional career? Well, you've come to the right spot. Today, we're going to do a deep dive into what it actually takes to get licensed, and we're going to use the awesome curriculum from Louisville Beauty Academy as our guide to break it all down.
All right, so let's just jump right in with the big question, right? What's the real difference between someone who's just good at nails at home and a licensed pro that clients actually trust with their health and their safety? I'll tell you, it is so much more than just being able to do a perfect polish job. It's this whole journey of science, art, and business all wrapped up together.
And you know what? That journey, it's measured in time. To be specific, we're talking about 450 clock hours. Yep, that's the magic number. It's the minimum required by the Kentucky Board of Cosmetology. And you might be kind of surprised at what actually fills up all that time. It's definitely not just painting nails. We're about to break down exactly what goes into every single one of those hours.
Okay, so here's our game plan. First, we'll check out the blueprint for those 450 hours. Then, we're going to get into the science behind it all. After that, we'll talk about mastering the actual craft, building a business, and finally, what it really means to be a top-tier graduate.
All right, let's get into it. The first piece of the puzzle is understanding how those 450 hours are even structured. You know, they're not just random. They're strategically split up to build a complete, well-rounded pro, right from scratch.
Okay, now this is super interesting. Look at this breakdown. You might think nail school is all just hands-on practice, right? But check this out. A full 150 hours, that's a whole third of the program, is all about theory and science. Then you've got another 25 hours dedicated just to Kentucky's laws and rules. But yeah, the biggest piece of the pie is the clinic and practice time. A whopping 275 hours of supervised hands-on work. That's almost 2/3 of your entire training, which makes sure you're actually ready to go when you hit the salon floor.
So let's talk about that big chunk of theory for a minute. You can't be a great painter if you don't understand your canvas, right? It's the same here. This part is all about the science, the foundation, and honestly, this is the stuff that separates a real professional from a hobbyist. It all starts in your head, not with your hands.
So when we say general sciences, what are we even talking about? Well, it's the core knowledge that makes sure every single service you do is safe and actually works. It's about understanding anatomy, the chemistry of your products, and, this is a big one, infection control. This knowledge, it's literally the foundation of being a professional. It's what keeps you and your clients safe.
Okay, so let's get into the why. Why does this science stuff matter so much? Well, infection control, that's what stops diseases from spreading. Simple as that. Anatomy, that's how you know you're not damaging someone's natural nail. Nail disorders, that's knowing when to say, hey, you need to see a doctor for this, instead of just working on it. And product chemistry and electricity, that's just about using your tools and gels safely and getting the best results. See, this isn't just random trivia for an exam. It's your duty as a professional.
Okay, so now that we've got the science down, let's see how it all turns into action. This is the fun part, right? This is where the artistry really kicks in and you take all that book smarts and turn it into the gorgeous technical services that clients are actually paying for. And the whole program is set up to make you a pro at the services people actually want. You start with the basics, you know, manicures and pedicures, but then you quickly level up to advanced stuff like using an e-file safely, applying tips and wraps, and mastering both acrylics, the classic monomer and polymer systems, and all the modern UV and LED gel systems out there. And I love this because it shows you how you learn all those skills without any, well, disasters. It's a really smart 3-step process. Step 1, you watch your instructor, a pro, show you exactly how it's done. Step 2, you practice on mannequins. This is where you build that muscle memory and get the technique down. And only then, after you've got some confidence and real skill, do you move on to working on actual people, live models, in a totally supervised clinic. It's a super safe way to learn. Okay, so being an amazing artist with an e-file is one thing, but turning that into a successful long-term career, that's a whole different ballgame. So now let's switch gears from the hands-on skills to the business side of things, the stuff that actually turns that license into a way to make a living.
And this slide lays it out perfectly. You've got two sides of the coin here. On one side, you have your hard skills. That's the technical stuff, like e-filing or applying gel. But on the other side, you have the soft skills. And trust me, they are just as crucial. We're talking about keeping clients coming back, managing a salon, having professional ethics, and just awesome customer service. A really good program is going to make sure you're great at both, because you absolutely can't succeed without both.
And really, that's the whole point. The business training isn't just some extra thing tacked on at the end. No, it's a core piece of the puzzle. It's designed to make sure that when you graduate, you're not just ready to pass the state exam, but you're ready to hit the ground running. Whether you want to work for someone else or, maybe dream of opening your own place one day.
Okay, so you've done the 450 hours. You've got the science, the art, the business. What does the final product actually look like? Let's bring it all together and talk about what it really means to be a professional graduate who's totally ready for this industry.
So, what is that graduate? Well, of course, they're technically skilled. That's a given. But it's so much more. They're lawfully aware. They know the rules of the game. They are ethically grounded. Client safety is always, always number one. And they're compassionate and focused on their community because they get what it truly means to be in a service profession.
And this quote here from Tran, the founder of Louisville Beauty Academy, wow, it just perfectly sums up the whole philosophy. It frames this entire journey not just as learning a skill, but as taking on a real professional responsibility. The idea that following the law and serving other people, that's the highest goal. I love that.
So I want to leave you with this final thought. When you finish those 450 hours and you get that license, what have you really earned? Is it just a piece of paper that says you can do nails? Or is it a promise? A promise to uphold a professional standard of care for every single person who puts their trust in you and sits at your table. It's something to think about, for sure. Thanks so much for tuning in.